John.
And I'm Josh.
And we are talking about college football. We're up to week 6, doing the recap of week 6, and going to briefly look at week 7. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about what happened this past week, starting off like we normally do with the upsets.
There are a couple good upsets, and they were all in the SEC, it seemed like, this past week.
That is true.
SEC seems to be in a little bit of a mess compared to usual. The first upset was Florida at Texas A&M.
Yep.
Did not see this one coming personally. Florida appeared to have a really strong team coming up into this point.
They did.
And then Alabama had embarrassed Texas A&M previously, so everyone was kind of like, not the real deal. Texas A&M can't compete.
And it's not like I don't know about you, but it's not like you're expecting Mond to do anything.
No, and he did really well.
Yeah, he did. He had a good game.
Trask did well too.
Oh yeah,
per usual.
Trask did well. And the big difference was the run game. Basically, Florida had no run game. They literally accumulated maybe 80 yards total with all of their running backs.
It was a struggle.
Yeah, and Spiller himself had 174 yards and a couple touchdowns.
Over 150 yards for a running back is.
And that was just one running back. Yeah.
So you have to look, and as we're just talking about these games, pay attention, especially to the SEC, to the lack of defensive performances. People have been talking. There's no doubt in anyone's mind that the SEC is currently not the strongest conference as far as defensive goes. 41-38,
but who is the strongest conference as far as defense goes? It seems like
it's the conference that's not playing right now. That's who. Big Ten,
possibly
for sure.
So. Yeah, possibly.
In my mind, the Big Ten is definitely the strongest defense right now.
Yeah,
and besides them, I got nothing. It seems like no one's playing defense. Anyways, second upset, love this one. Missouri at LSU, 45-41. Where's the defense?
No way you could have seen that coming. There's just no way.
And Brennan did well, too.
Brennan did well.
This is 3 weeks in a row that LSU, who now has 2 losses, Brennan's throwing the ball like nobody's business, and he's still losing?
Yep. And just like you said, it goes back to defense.
It really does. It's just a struggle.
Particularly when you're not able to stop Missouri. Yeah, I mean, what can you say?
Yeah, you got nothing there. And this is yet another team that Alabama just embarrassed. So everyone's like, oh, okay, Missouri's nothing either. And then they go and upset. But we'll talk about Alabama in a second. So they don't get to escape either.
No, they don't. So some interesting games that occurred. Texas at Oklahoma, Red River, the rivalry.
It was a boring rivalry considering like neither team really has a good chance of making it to the playoffs.
That's right.
But interesting in the chance of did they give it their all.
4 overtimes.
4 overtimes. Woo. Just a fun game to watch. Let me tell you, they hate each other.
They do hate each other.
They really, you can just tell the bad blood between the two teams, and they gave it their all. Oklahoma did win, though.
Yeah, they did.
53-45.
And Ellinger could not put it together to finish that one off. But yeah, and of course it's really high scoring because of overtimes. They're putting a lot of score there.
4 overtimes, and I think they almost scored a touchdown in all of them or something like that. So either way.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes, wow. Okay, then your upset pick of last week was Virginia Tech in North Carolina. And good grief.
I'm pretty used to Virginia Tech disappointing me at this point.
So is Bobby.
45-56.
Yeah.
High scoring game.
It was.
Yet again, looking at it, Virginia Tech still has a number of players out.
Yes.
UNC, man.
And Virginia Tech, the problem they had is they got themselves in the hole to begin with.
They did. They had to climb back.
Yeah.
It was like a battle.
And they looked like they were going to climb back.
At one point they did. They made, I think, like a 1-score game or something, but no, they didn't have enough.
So now the question is, in the ACC, is UNC the real deal? I think they're ranked number 5 now, which seems really generous to me.
Looking at their next couple games to finish the season, Florida State, NC State, Virginia, Duke, Wake Forest.
Basically, what we're saying is they could be what are they now? 4-0?
Something, either 3-0 or 4-0.
So they could be
5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
9-0.
9-0 going into the
By
final
the
2 games of the season.
They face Notre Dame, yes,
and Miami.
So,
Which, Miami got exposed in their game against Clemson.
This is true.
So, Notre Dame, Miami at the end, the tougher thing, but they shouldn't lose a game up till then.
Unless they just do something stupid.
Maybe NC State, rivalry game, who knows, with stuff like that.
Can't quite see that one. But
anyways, UNC, who knows?
There you go. We'll see. Then we had Arkansas and Auburn. I think most people were sort of giving the nod to Auburn in this one.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But
Arkansas?
Yeah, I know.
It was a 28-30 game, 2-point win by Auburn, and Arkansas almost won it at the end.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah. They did.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
A matter of fact, the call at the end, if y'all remember, the snap was sent to Bo Nix. He fumbled the snap, and all he was supposed to do is spike it. He spikes it backwards.
Should have been a fumble.
So when you really talk about what happened this is what happened. The officials, expecting the spike, called the ball dead, even though they shouldn't have. And so technically, it was a fumbled ball. And yet the officials, covering their tails, had to say that it was not.
Yeah, you can look at it from multiple different angles and see that the ball
Everybody
did go
knows.
backwards.
It's very clear. Yeah.
Either way, Auburn escapes barely with
They
a 2-point win against Arkansas.
Felipe Franks had a really good game in that
did.
one. Yeah. Okay, then as we said, we're going to get to this one, and here we are. Alabama at Ole Miss. Alabama 63-48.
This was a game until the fourth
It was
quarter.
a seesaw game.
It really was.
It just was going back and forth and back
and
and
we
forth.
talked and we said the winner of this team or of this game was going to be the first team to have a defensive stop, and the first team that did that was Alabama, and they did win the game.
Which it took them till the fourth quarter
It
to
was
have
ridiculous.
a defensive stop.
Looking at some of the stats, oh my goodness, Najee Harris, great game.
We're talking 700 plus yards in offense for Alabama, 600 plus yards in offense, 650 yards offense for Ole Miss.
Yeah, so Najee and Jones, phenomenal games by them. Najee hasn't done too hot at least in my mind.
Up to this point,
a little slow. 206 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Yes.
5. He was very involved today. Jones, 400 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. Phenomenal game by him. He's done super well this entire season, though. But Ole Miss, man, Lane Kiffin. Maybe because knowing like Alabama's play style and knowing different things like that, they were able to kind of tear them apart. Defensively, I just got nothing for Alabama.
No, I don't either. And I think a lot of people were disappointed, just like Auburn was disappointed with their defense, and Alabama's disappointed with their defense. And they're going to have to make some incredible adjustments as we talk about what's up this coming week. But my goodness, you can't win games on offense alone just by having this, 700 plus yards.
Eventually, it's going to bite you in the butt. And
it will.
You'll lose the game.
So some of the as expected games, Miami at Clemson, it was as expected. I mean, they were touting this one as a big game. It was exactly as I expected.
Yeah, you told me Clemson was gonna win by 21 plus points.
Yeah,
and they definitely won by 21 plus points.
Yeah, 42-17.
And it looks like they'll be undefeated. Going to the game against Notre Dame.
Without a doubt. Yep. Without a doubt. Yeah. They'll be undefeated as they head there. There's really nothing. If you look at their schedule, that's going to stand
maybe
in their way.
UNC in the championship game.
Yeah. Maybe so. Then you had Tennessee at Georgia.
Tennessee had us, man. We were like,
up to halftime?
Oh my.
They were leading
are they
at halftime.
21-17 at halftime.
Yeah.
Guess how many points Tennessee ended up with?
They scored 0 in the second half. So,
embarrassing.
They didn't go past that 21
embarrassing points. SEC defense, embarrassing. Georgia, defensively, they're still looking good.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
You've got to watch out for that defense.
Team right now that's
absolutely.
Good.
0 points in a whole half against Tennessee.
Yes.
Just good job, Georgia. I still am not sold on Bennett, but that's okay.
Yeah. And that really leads us into next week because, when we're talking about week 7, Georgia is going to be at Alabama. That's the big game.
I believe this is the only ranked matchup. Ranked versus ranked.
Yeah, this is a lot of
2 versus 3.
The big ones like that. Yeah, for sure.
And this entire time leading up to this, the first 3 games of the season for the SEC, it was always, can Georgia compete with Alabama?
Yeah.
I really feel like the tone
has
changed
the question is,
just a little.
Can Alabama compete with Georgia?
And it's, can Alabama fix their defense in time for Georgia?
Okay, I would say what Alabama has going for them is they have a little more confidence in offense. I think with Bennett, as the quarterback for Georgia, he's still new. I mean, he's still a young guy. This is new stuff for him. And so you never know what could happen there.
I'm going to say this. I think right now it looks like, yes, Alabama definitely has the nod on offense, but Georgia most definitely has the nod on defense, right?
For sure.
So the question is, can Mac Jones and Najee Harris, Waddle, can all of them step up to the next level?
Yeah.
And one of the sides is going to have to step up. So either Georgia's offense steps up and Georgia wins, or Alabama's defense steps up and Alabama wins. Because I really don't think, in terms of Georgia's offense is not going to outplay Alabama's offense, right?
I don't think.
And Alabama's defense, I really don't think will outplay Georgia's defense.
No.
So it's just gonna. I really don't know which way I see this game going. I would definitely be nervous if I was an Alabama fan.
I am. Yes, a little bit concerned there.
I will say Nick Saban still has not lost to a former assistant or coach of any kind.
But one day it's going to happen. So
can Kirby Smart do it? I would say out of all the coaches, it would be him.
Kirby Smart would be the most likely to pull that off. All right, so you got a bunch of postponements or cancellations right now. They're postponements because of COVID. So LSU's not going to face Florida.
Which is funny. Now no one cares.
Yeah, well.
I mean, no offense to those two teams. I'm sure the players want to play, and I hope everyone's healthy.
Exactly.
But like
Oklahoma State, undefeated. One of the undefeateds in the
only undefeated, right?
In conference play, not the only undefeated.
Okay, but only undefeated team.
That's a good point.
Oklahoma State, fairly high ranked. They need to reschedule this game, I think, if they want any chance. So hopefully all that gets fixed and they still get to play Baylor later on down the road.
Yep. Then you have BYU. Is it going to be at Houston?
Right. So BYU's played 4 games this season. Probably the front runner besides Cincinnati in like group of 5 type deal or non-Power 5 conference. Houston, I believe, has had 3 games canceled. So they've only played 1 game this season.
Wow.
But they were supposed to be a good team this year. They're 1-0 right now. It was supposed to be a good team. 3 weeks off, though, I just don't know.
That's hard.
Hard game. I think BYU does win. And then we've got Boston College at Virginia Tech. 3-1, 3-1. Can Virginia Tech bounce back? I figure eventually Virginia Tech has to get their players back. Yeah. I know they were still missing some last game, but it's been like, I feel like it's been like 3 or 4 weeks now,
supposed to be 2 weeks.
So I mean, surely they get their team back eventually here, unless just new players are getting, they're switching off, like, oh, y'all are the new batch, you're out.
It seems like, and I could be wrong, but it seems like the most plagued team as far as COVID's been concerned, as far as the most affected team this year so far.
I would say the most affected team that's actually still willing to play, right?
That's true.
Because it seems like a lot of teams, like Notre Dame, just cancel the game when they have a couple players out.
With a few players, yeah.
So kudos to Virginia Tech for still trying.
Yeah.
All right, last week I messed up with one of my upsets.
Yep.
So obviously I missed Virginia Tech. That makes me 1-1 in the year.
Yep.
I said Coastal Carolina at Louisiana. That is this week.
That's actually tonight
for us.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night. I'm still standing by it.
Okay.
I still think Coastal Carolina beats Louisiana at Louisiana. Sunbelt hype. These teams aren't actually good. It's just because conferences aren't playing yet that they're ranked. So they better enjoy it while they can, because it's about to come all tumbling down soon, and it's going to start tumbling down now for Louisiana. Starting with Coastal Carolina 3-0. They'll be 4-0.
Those fierce chickens.
Yep.
Got it.
And then Cincinnati at Tulsa.
Yes.
Now, just a couple things to note. Yes, Cincinnati's ranked number 8. Yes, no one understands why. Tulsa. Only loss for Tulsa is at Oklahoma State.
Aren't they the best team in Texas?
Yes.
In Oklahoma.
Yeah, in Oklahoma. Except no, because Oklahoma State.
Yeah, that is true.
Tulsa. 17-6 against Oklahoma State.
Uh-huh.
Not a bad loss, right? Offensively, they definitely struggled. Second game, they beat UCF, right?
Yes.
A ranked, very high-ranked UCF.
Yeah.
This will be their 3rd game against number 8 Cincinnati. I really think they can win this.
Okay.
Putting my hopeful luck into this game, and we'll see if Tulsa can get it out.
Okay. Those are your 2 upset picks, and that's week 6 as well as sort of a look at week 7. Join us next time.
Go Broncos.